Welcome to our channel, where we bring you the most dramatic, shocking, and mysterious stories in the world of cinema. In today's video, we will take you on a breathtaking journey with psychological, thrilling, and not for the faint of heart. Make sure you watch until the end, because the last minutes will leave you unable to take your eyes off. And don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any shocking developments from us. Hayley mysteriously disappeared in the quiet night when the storm began to sweep through the western suburbs where she lived. All traces seemed to disappear into nothingness. The room she left behind was still neat, the window was ajar, the phone fell next to the bed with a cracked screen, still emitting the faint light of a missed call at 3 a.m. The call came from an anonymous number that could not be traced. Bill woke up in a daze and worried when he realized that Hayley was not lying next to him. He searched every corner of the house, ran down to the basement, checked the garage, called friends, relatives, and the hospital, but no one knew where she was. Meanwhile, Hayley had been taken to an abandoned house deep in the woods, where the phone signal was blocked, the doors were locked, and all the windows were covered with rotten wood. She was tied to an old wooden chair in the middle of a dark room, surrounded by the sound of the wind whistling and the creaking of wood under her feet. Her head was dizzy, blood was flowing from a small wound on her forehead. The memory of the moment of her kidnapping was faint. Only the image of a blank white mask with no expression, dark eyes that showed no emotion, and a cold hand covering her mouth before everything went dark. The next morning, Bill received a strange email from an unknown address with a video file attached. He opened it in shock and horror when he saw Hayley in a state of being tied up, bloody, panicking, trying to scream something, but the sound was muted. On the screen appeared a large line. "If you want her alive, prepare $2 million before sunset. Do not call the police. We know what you are thinking." The lines were written in a blood-splattered effect, accompanied by a distorted laugh, making Bill's whole body shiver. What was more horrifying was that along with the video, the kidnapper attached a clip from a security camera inside Bill's own house, proving that he had broken in and observed them for a long time. A secret angle from inside the bedroom clearly showed Bill and Hayley the night before. All safety boundaries had been broken. Bill, in despair, could not believe that his every move had been closely monitored for so long. He tried to stay calm, not daring to contact the police, knowing full well that any move could cost Hayley. He opened the safe, counted the stacks of money, flipped through his bank accounts, called old connections in the underground financial world, even those he had cut off for moral reasons. But while he was campaigning everywhere to gather enough money, something unusual happened. He sent another video, this time showing Hayley with a knife held to her throat by another masked man, whispering in her ear words that made her cry silently. Although there was no sound, Hayley's face showed extreme fear. And then a new line appeared: "Time is running out, she won't be waiting long. Are you sure you've prepared everything?" Accompanying it was a photograph taken from a mirror in Bill's office. A photograph that could not possibly exist, unless the person had been standing right behind him at some point without him knowing. Bill realized that this was not just a kidnapping for ransom, but a carefully orchestrated psychological game with his own target. Bill's every move now became a pawn in a dark plan. When he tried to transfer the money, the account was suddenly locked due to a report of irregularities from an unknown financial institution, one that Bill had never heard of but that had control over his banking activities. Immediately after, he received another recording, Hayley's voice whispering in pain, "Don't trust anyone, this isn't the first time, he knows everything." Her voice gradually weakened as if her body had been injected with some kind of drug that paralyzed her consciousness. The recording ends with the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Then complete silence. Bill is almost insane. He destroys his office, smashes his computer, and is suspicious of everything around him. He even begins to have paranoid thoughts about people he was close to, including his brother who disappeared 3 years ago in an accident that was ruled accidental. The truth gradually emerges when Bill discovers an old photo of Hayley with a man in a white mask at a costume party she never mentioned. The photo is torn in half, hidden behind a fake wall in her bedroom. He immediately realizes that this kidnapping is not just about him, but the result of a deep connection from the past that Hayley has tried to hide. Unable to contact anyone he trusts, Bill decides to track down the abandoned house in the video. After hours of examining every frame, light, and location of cracks, he finally narrows down the location of the house, deep in the woods that locals call Hell's Gate. A place that has been the scene of a series of unsolved disappearances over the past 20 years. Bill arrives at the scene in the middle of the night, carrying a suitcase containing money and a handgun. But he's not alone. The house is a veritable maze, with rooms that overlap, hallways that lurk in the shadows, mirrors everywhere that reflect his own image in a distorted and haunting way. He's led through each room by traces of blood and messages scrawled on the walls. In one room, he discovers a video camera playing old tapes of not just Hayley, but other women, all kidnapped, tortured, and disappeared without a trace. A brutal truth emerges: Hayley is not the first victim, and may not be the last. When he finally finds Hayley, she's unconscious, hooked up to bizarre medical devices as if someone were experimenting on her. The masked figure steps out of the shadows, clapping his hands slowly. He didn't say a word, just raised his hand and pointed at Bill, then at the screen behind him where Bill had killed a man in an accident 5 years ago, a case he had quietly covered up. The kidnapper knew everything. And this game was punishment, a revenge of the cruelest kind, by forcing Bill to watch the person he loved being destroyed bit by bit. But that wasn't the final shock. When Bill rushed to rescue Hayley, she suddenly woke up and whispered a single word: "Run." At that moment, all the doors slammed shut, the gas system began to spray throughout the house. And a voice rang out: "The game is over." It was thought that everything ended in a sea of fire, but a short video of the explosion suddenly spread on the dark web just a few hours later. In the clip, a gloved hand placed a small doll wearing a white mask on a stone platform in the middle of the forest, then turned the camera towards himself. He slowly removed the mask, revealing a familiar face, the one who used to be Bill's best friend, who died in a mysterious disappearance many years ago. If you feel drawn into this mysterious journey, follow and subscribe to our channel now so you don't miss any of the next episodes. The truths are yet to be revealed, and we will be the first to bring them to you.